Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with a wrap-up video for our Playing on a Budget with the Tooth and Nail. Absolutely loved this deck. This deck was incredible. It played incredibly well. I think the burn matchups were pretty 50-50. I think I misplayed both of those burn matchups, but going 3-3 and then two of those losses going against burn, not too shabby. Absolutely loved how this deck ran against the Abzan decks, and it does have some ability to either race these Splinter Twin decks, as you can do your own turn 4 or turn 3, basically kill with this deck, or just plain play the land destruction route and lock people out of the game. So I'm thinking that the sideboard wants to have that route with the Creeping Molds and the Bramblecrush, etc., etc., etc. I was thinking of a couple more cards that might go well in this deck. Verdant Haven wouldn't be too shabby. I know there's one out of Dragon's Maze that's 4 mana that basically does the same thing as Overgrowth. I believe so, or maybe it's out of one of the newer sets. But Verdant Haven is gain 2 life and then ramps another. I'll pull up these cards. It might want to go in here. Not quite sure. It's another way to ramp into... So when it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life, and then it's tapped for mana. It adds 1 mana of any color to mana pool. So again, you could go first turn Utopia Sprawl, second turn into Verdant Haven. And then against Burn, that'd give you 2 life, which might be the difference in stabilizing or not. But it does only tap for 1 additional mana, which might not be worth it. So then a couple other cards that I thought about against the Burn, you could go Kitchen Finks, which, of course, everyone knows what this card does. When Kitchen Finks enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life, and then has Persist, so Burn has to kill it twice. And the one card that I'm not quite sure about is Polukranos. Polukranos seems a little bit iffy in this deck. I don't know if there's enough decks where Polukranos actually is viable. I thought against Affinity, you could get Polukranos out very quickly, as fast as turn 2, with Arbor Elf Utopia. No, that actually doesn't quite get out on turn 2. So you go... No, it'd be turn 3 when you get Polukranos out, and then turn 4, you can have an insane amount of mana on turn number 4 with Polukranos and just wipe their board. And then if not, it's just a 5/5 body they have to deal with. But I don't know if it's justifiable over another Thragtusk or Kitchen Finks. I think Kitchen Finks is something that this deck absolutely wants in the sideboard somewhere, and then or maybe another like Nature's Claim or something, or even another Wurmcoil Engine, to be honest with you, because you can get Wurmcoil Engine out quite quickly, and it'd be the same turn that you'd get Polukranos out, and there's so many decks that just fold to a Wurmcoil Engine. So I'd have to mess around with the list. I don't know if you want to cut too many things. Like the Wurmcoils, I think a 2 of Wurmcoil and a 2 of Thragtusk is pretty good. Maybe you could even go more Wurmcoils over Thragtusk. Other than I do like that enter the battlefield immediately with Thragtusk. And again, the turn 2 Kitchen Finks is definitely something that this deck wants against Burn. So I'd probably suggest going down in maybe a Creeping Mold. I love the Creeping Mold though, or maybe even Nature's Claims. Even Nature's Claims can kill a lot of problematic cards in the format. It's artifact or enchantment. It's very good versus the Amulet of Vigor deck with a first turn be able to deal with their Amulet of Vigor. It can kill any sort of card that could mess you up, like I guess Leyline of Sanctity doesn't mess you. I mean, we have so many other ways to kill artifact enchantments at 4 mana that maybe we just don't need that fast Nature's Claim, but that is instant speed. Or again, Creeping Mold just needs to come out. But some sort. What right now I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Polukranos out, and I'm going to put this probably either Thragtusk or Acidic Slime in main board. We'll go for another Acidic Slime in the main board, and then I'm going to add at least 1 Kitchen Finks to the sideboard. And maybe we can just get rid of this Creeping Mold number 3 or 4 and add 1 more Kitchen Finks in the sideboard. And I think that I'm up to the notion of going 1 Boseiju into the main board. And if more control comes in, I want 2 in the side, and then you can even go more Kitchen Finks. Kitchen Finks could even go main board if there's a lot of aggressive decks. Again, the 3 matchups we lost to were aggressive. So we had the Death Shadow that basically God-drawed us. Game number 1, I kind of screwed up on game number 2, and then the burn had definitely the best draw imaginable, that turn 3 kill, and then the Deflecting Palm on game number 6, on match number 6, was pretty clutch. I did not expect that. That was awesome though. Got to give it to him. I think the Deflecting Palm probably is a pretty viable option in the burn deck, as I mean, it deflects 4 damage from a Siege Rhino, and Wurmcoil Engine, it deflects that from them gaining their life back if they swing in with it. And yeah, I don't know if it's really worth it against a lot of other stuff. It would have worked against that Death Shadows deck, but definitely a cool card in burn, being deflecting Palm. Against other burn sources too, is it becomes you counter their spell and deal the damage back to them. So in the mirror, it's probably pretty decent as well. Anywho, back to this deck. This deck could want the 4 Kitchen Finks. We'll have to wait and see. Again, if you are worried about burning the metagame, Kitchen Finks is the way to go. And turn 1 Utopia Sprawl or Arbor Elf into Kitchen Finks, it's going to be very hard. A lot of times they won't even have Skullcrack mana up at that point, so you're going to get that 2 life, that blocker with the Kitchen Finks, which basically kills everything in the deck. And then if it dies again, you get 2 more lives. So loving this deck. Absolutely thought it ran very well. I'd like to see it up versus like Splinter Twin or up against like another control type route, but we got to see it against the blue deck and the Abzan deck, which kind of gives you a feel for how well this deck would perform in the metagame. Anyway, this has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. As always, you can direct questions in the comment section below, or you can come find me at my channel over at YouTube/Rogue Deck Builder. Thanks for watching.